The playoff push is in full swing. Hi everyone, Jody Norstedt with Midco Sports here, ready to dish out another one of these coveted Midco Sports game balls presented by Farmers Union Insurance. But first, let's chat about the importance of every game here down the stretch. This is the final week of the regular season for nine-man teams, so as you can imagine, a lot will be on the line. A couple of region champions were already crowned last week. New Salem-Almont and Grant County Flasher in regions 5 and 6. But 6 more titles are up for grabs on Friday. It should make for a fun night of Varsity Sports Live. 11B still has 2 weeks left of the regular season, but Kindred can wrap up Region 1 with a win over Sargent County, and the Region 4 championship will be decided when Trinity plays Beulah Friday night. We'll be there for post-game reaction. And let's stick with that Trinity squad. You know, sometimes I see a game full of top performers, and I just say, let's make that entire game a top performer. That's what I'm doing with the Trinity-Hazen showdown from last week. Did you hear about this one? This is the game-winning 24-yard field goal from Trinity's 𝗕𝗹𝗹𝗃 with 26 seconds remaining. You know what it made the final score? 51-50. Yes, 101 points combined in this one, and somehow the Titans remain undefeated. Here's a look at some of the stat leaders. Let's start with the Hazen running backs who helped the Bison fight their way back into this game. Seniors Kason Kaler and Cade Harm combined for 411 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns on 40 carries. But it was the Titans coming out on the winning end like they have all year. Junior quarterback Jace Kovash, who won the game ball week 1, passed for 314 yards and 2 touchdowns while rushing for 70 yards and 2 more. Luke Schob made 9 catches for 124 yards and 2 scores. What a show put on by those 2 squads. Well, you know, it can be hard sometimes for defensive linemen to get on this list, but we have a couple of guys worth recognizing out of the EDC. Both of them were nominated this week, and deservedly so. Davies' Andre Work was an absolute terror in the backfield against 11A top-ranked Fargo South on Friday. I was shooting this game, and these 2 sacks are from the same series. He was wrecking the Bruins' game plans left and right. And this other young man is a future Big Ten player. Minnesota Gopher commit Carter Menz helped that Cheyenne defense hold Minot to 14 points on the road. Menz had a couple of sacks in this game, including this one that forced a fumble in the 4th quarter. Menz was the sack leader in the EDC last year. Okay, let's get to our presentation. For the first time this season, a wide receiver is catching this precious pigskin. This game ball is heading to Napoleon for Trevor Moos. Big numbers, game-winning score, and the win secured his head coach win number 100. Stick around to see his big night. But first, we have some top performers to chat about. Divide County can win the Region 8 title on Friday with a win over Tioga. A big piece to the Maroon success this season has been 𝗕𝗺𝗃. The senior had another hard hat and lunch pail effort in the win over Lewis and Clark. He had 12 touches rushing and receiving combined and scored on a third of them. 207 combo yards and 4 touchdowns, and then he also added a 32-yard complete pass. That was just offense. He finished with 12 tackles, 3 for loss, and a blocked field goal. What a game by 𝗕𝗺𝗃. Oaks found their spark in the form of junior rusher Mario Garza on Friday as he carried the ball 15 times for 182 yards and a pair of scores in the win over 𝗕𝗍. Might as well call him Super Mario. Garza silenced the Thunder offense too, making 8 tackles and a sack. Is there anyone still doubting Valley City? I hope not. Gavin Gerhardt might still be running. He averaged over 10 yards a pop Friday night, rushing for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 40-6 win over Wahpeton. Honorable mention goes out to that Highliners defense after holding Wahpeton to just 16 total yards. And it's not just a one-night wonder. Valley City has allowed a grand total of 26 points through 6 games. That means they are holding teams to 4.3 points per game. The 1 versus 2 showdown against Jamestown is going to be a lot of fun come Friday. Tackling Trey, it's easier said than done. Just ask Central Cass. Even when you know it's coming, the Vikings' physical offensive line makes sure you don't get a sniff of their top rusher Trey Heinrich, who ripped off 200 yards and scored all 4 touchdowns in the 28-zip win over rival Central Cass. Heinrich also added an interception on defense. From one defending state champ to another, Peyton Hochhalter passed for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in a 33-8 win over Dickinson. The senior QB added a rushing score as well. Hochhalter and the Blue Jays found their footing again after stubbing their toe down in Wahpeton. In the battle for Hettinger, 𝗠𝗵𝗃 stole the show. The senior QB for Hettinger County scored 3 touchdowns on the offensive side of the ball and ended 2 Hettinger-Scranton drives on defense with a pair of interceptions. Hettinger County, formerly known as Mount Regent, New England, is starting to heat up, having won 4 of its last 5. Here's a stat line that'll always put a smile on Jim Dooley's bearded face. The Beulah head coach watched Mason Melmer tote the rock 40 times for 309 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Miners didn't attempt a pass the entire game, basically because they didn't need to. Shiloh Christian did score 36 points, but Beulah's unstoppable offense put up a 50 spot. Miners played Trinity for the region crown on Friday. Red River had lost 4 straight years to Fargo North. The Rough Riders came in as the underdog, and Pierce Parks said, "Not today, Spartans." The sophomore quarterback completed 12 of his 19 passes for 208 yards and 3 scores. Hudson Flom, Quinn Nelson, and Logan Harrison hauling those passes in. Parks also added a rushing score in the 38-6 rout of the 3rd-ranked Spartans. Big win for Red River. Polar bears are considered endangered in the United States. Numbers are dwindling, but this polar bear looks strong and healthy on Friday night. Laramore's Coulter Thorsell was a mauler on both sides of the ball, rushing for $186 and 2 scores while racking up a team-high 14 tackles on defense, 3 of those for losses, including a sack. Making it even sweeter, the 28-18 win over Nelson County secured Laramore a playoff berth for the first time since 2018. Well, Bismarck High has dominated Mandan for decades. The Demons were 28-1 against the Braves since 1994. 28-1 over the last 29 meetings. The Braves took out about 3 decades worth of frustration Friday night by destroying the Demons 63-22. Mandan running back Lincoln Wiseman is basically playing football one-handed right now. He's using a splint on his left forearm to help heal a broken bone. He can't even stiff arm, but he rushed for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter alone. He finished just shy of 200 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns for the game. Wiseman is making a strong case for Class 11 AA Player of the Year. Well, that's a loaded group of top performers. Thanks again to everyone for sending us nominations each and every week. But let's get to the player who earned this hardware. The Midco Sports Game Ball, sponsored by Farmers Union Insurance, is heading to Napoleon-Gackle-Streeter, the Imperials. The Moose was loose on Friday night. Trevor Moos had a night that kids dream of when they think of playing varsity football. He caught 9 passes and turned that into 232 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just look at these highlights. The route running, sure hands, and the speed. He's a great sprinter for that track team too. Beach didn't want him to get the ball on kickoffs, so they kicked away from him. But look at that pass here to get him the ball anyway. Then he scoots up the sideline for the kick return score. But wait, there's more. With under 30 seconds left, the Imperials trailed Beach 40-34. They go for it on a 4th and 2. Moose goes into motion, takes the direct snap, and sprints to the end zone to tie the game at 40. They still need the conversion for the win, though. Gee, I wonder who they'll target. Jorn Jangula to Moose? Might as well call him Moss. There's your game winner. The Imperials snap a 4-game losing streak, and head coach Kelly McCleary notches his 100th career coaching win. What a moment, what a game. Congrats to Trevor, congrats to the Imperials. We have 3 more weeks of game balls to give out. Looking forward to seeing more top performances on Friday night. We'll have tons of great highlights coming your way Friday night on Varsity Sports Live. We'll see you then.